everyone. Hey, welcome to another episode of The Front. Do me a favor, right at the front of The Front right now. Share this video on your social media. I would really appreciate it. Also, you can check out the website at leadtheteam.net for free sales training, motivational content, and leadership tips. And cruise on over to leadtheteam.tv. Subscribe to the YouTube channel there. Know that I do new episodes of The Front every Wednesday and Sunday, and I would love to have you join me. So today I'm talking about making the connection right now on The Front.
Thanks for tuning in to Lead the Teams, The Front.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me today. My name is Mike Phillips and I will be your host. This is The Front, and today we're talking about making the connection. And what do I mean by making the connection? Well, this one is for all of the salespeople out there, especially automotive sales, or if you work in a business development center or a BDC, as they're also known. This episode is going to be all about the phone connection. Like, what do you do? How do you progress the sale once you've made it to getting the customer on the phone? It's all about making that connection once you have them on the phone. And yes, I know there are other ways to communicate, and certainly there are all kinds of them through social media and text and chat and email. And then there's the phone call. For me, I still really prefer the phone call. Now, the reason is because that's right at the tipping point. It's right before you've gotten to that meeting. Like if you're in B2B sales and you've done all the work to get to the point where the customers agreed to a phone conversation, it's right before you're going to have the opportunity to set up the meeting, right? If you're in automotive sales and you've worked people all the way through, worked with them all the way through the emails and the chats and the texts and all those things, it's right before the point that that customer is going to agree to set an appointment and take the time to meet with you one-on-one. So there's a certain rush to that for me. That's why I still like the phone call. I love the phone call. And so there's an art to it. There are some certain things that have to be done, in my opinion, all the time on a phone call. So here we go. These things are not process per se. These are things that you, in my opinion, should execute on in every single phone contact, and it will give a deeper and greater connection, hence the name, making the connection, with the customer and allow you a better opportunity to progress to the next point in the sale. So number one, voice tone to set the tone. Voice tone is huge when you're on the phone. The way that you say something, that tonality in your voice is absolutely critical. You know, they've broken down communication and said there's a certain piece of it that is verbiage or the words you use, and a certain amount of it is voice tone and a certain amount is body language. Well, and the heaviest amount is body language. You don't have body language on the phone. You have the words that you use and you have voice tone. So you have to be masterful at the way you use that tone. For example, when you answer the phone and you say, "Hi, thanks for calling," that gets a different response than, "Hi, thanks for calling." And you can see when I demonstrate that, physically it uses different muscles in my face. Like when I'm excited about it, you know, the corners of my mouth are turned up, my eyes are opened wider, I'm breathing more quickly because I'm excited. So you have to have some level of excitement in your voice. You have to convey that through your voice because the customer cannot see you. And I know that you could say, well, that goes without saying, Mike. Of course I know they can't see me. They're on the phone. Well, still the body language that's associated with being excited is still there, right? I've got a smile. I'm talking quickly. I'm breathing deeply. I'm moving along. And as I'm doing that and you have that rapid voice tone, "Hi, thanks for calling," right? You sound like you are somebody that is excited to be where you're at. And if you're excited to be where you're at, it's going to progress you to the next point in that phone call and in the sale. So that brings me to my second part. Always work on progressing to the next step. And the next step is going to vary depending on the customer, depending on what script you may be using or may not be using, depending on what the customer's asking about. Are they asking about a specific product? Or, for example, in automotive sales, are they asking about an auto loan? Are they asking about trade-ins? There are a multitude of things that people could be having a conversation, and you should have, in my opinion, some level of script for each one of those things that is suitable for your store. And so every single piece of the conversation that you're having should be progressing that phone call further down the line in the script so that you can arrive at the appointment. That's ultimately what the goal is the appointment to meet in person. And I'm talking now heavily automotive sales now, but really in any form of sales, the goal is to get to the appointment with the customer so that they trust you enough to say, yes, I would like to meet with you so that we can look at purchasing your product or utilizing your service. And keep in mind, if you are not progressing further along to the appointment, you're progressing further along to disconnecting the call and them hanging up. You're always moving closer towards something, right? So if you're going to invest the time with the customer, let's work on progressing them closer to the appointment. So that brings us to our third item, sell the positives. It's important to always tell people what you can do rather than what you cannot do. And in any form of sales, often we fall into the trap thinking if I tell the customer no, or if I tell them this is unavailable, that it gives us a false sense of security that we have control in the situation. Well, if you're on the phone, let me give you a tip. All they have to do is say, hey, thanks for the information. Talk to you later. Click. So you want to slow down to the point and ask yourself the question, before I tell somebody no, before I tell them something is unavailable or that we're not able to do something for them, think to yourself, how could I turn this around into a positive of what we can provide? What services we do have that may mirror what the customer is asking about? Even if it's not the exact item, if you take the time to slow down and ask more questions, establish that rapport, get to know the customer a little bit, it allows you to sell them on the positive things. The positives of doing business with your company, the positives of doing business with you. So there it is, all three of those items. I'll run back through them. Number one is you have to control your voice tone while you're on the phone. You have to convey your emotion through your voice tone. Number two is you've got to work towards the next step. And then number three is you've got to make sure and sell the positives. And I'll tell you, just kind of a side note here, this works in text and email and chat as well. Now, the thing is, if you're on a text, for example, everybody texts right now. Voice tone is removed. So you have to be very calculated in what words you use to communicate to the customer so you can graduate the customer from the text or from the email to the phone, to your business, and to a one-on-one meeting. So that's my whole message today on the front. It's all about making the connection, or once you're on that connection, how can you keep moving things forward and have a really good phone contact with your potential customer. So thanks for taking the time to tune in and join me today on the front. I really appreciate it. As always, please, if you've gained something out of this episode, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media, share it with your friends and connections. That would be awesome. Make sure, please, go check out the website at leadtheteam.net/shop, and you can get some really cool Lead the Team gear, shirts and mugs and phone cases and all kinds of stuff I've got set up over there. So thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate it. And until we speak next, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.